This is Pastor Din Padayhag. Welcome to SoulFoood1st. We are still continuing with our series on a workman of God. Yesterday, we talked about the third thing that a workman must do. We learned that as a workman of God, we must be a faithful soldier of Jesus Christ. We learned that as a good soldier of Jesus Christ, we must be suited up and wear our uniform. It means that we must be recognizable, identifiable, and obvious because God has called us to be soldiers of Jesus Christ and not secret agents. We also learned that a good soldier of Jesus Christ must put his whole armor, or we have to put our whole armor of God, and we should know how to use them. You see, at the moment of our salvation, God has given us offensive and defensive armor that we could use in our Christian battle. These are the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the shoes of peace, the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, and then prayer. And when we use them, we can fight, we can resist the devil, and we can win the battle. Now, as we continue, let's talk about the fourth thing that a workman of God must do. Number 4, as a workman of God, we must be determined and disciplined. This is illustrated to us in a metaphor of an athlete. Let's go to the book of 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 5. The Bible says, "And also, if anyone competes in athletics, he is not crowned unless he competes according to the rules." So, first of all, we have to know that in a competition, there are rules. For example, our names should be listed on the competitors' names or book. That is a rule. You see, it doesn't matter how good we are as athletes if our names are not listed down in the book of the athletes, we cannot compete. Also, we have to understand that even though we are great athletes, but if our way of competing is not according to the rules, then we cannot win because again, there are rules to the game. That's why Apostle Paul says that it is important to follow the rules. Secondly, not just that we follow the rules, but we should be determined to win also. The Greek verb of athlete is athleo, and it expresses the effort and the determination needed to compete successfully as an athlete in an athletic event. Now, let's get this picture from 1 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 24. The Apostle Paul says, "Do you not know that those who run in a race all run, but one receives the prize?" And then he says, "Run in such a way that you may obtain it." That is determination, beloved. We can almost hear Apostle Paul saying, don't just run for fun, but run to win. And then he continues in verses 26 through 27 saying, "Therefore I run thus, not with uncertainty, thus I fight, not as one who beats the air, but I discipline my body and bring it into subjection, lest when I preach to others, I myself should become disqualified." Here, we find the Apostle Paul having the determination and discipline at the same time. And he continued and keep this discipline and determination until the end of his life. This is so evident when he wrote his farewell message to the young Timothy. And let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 4 verses 6 down to verse 8. Apostle Paul says, "For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing." There is no doubt that as a good soldier of Jesus Christ and as a spiritual athlete, the Apostle Paul fought a good fight, finished the race, and then he kept the faith. And so he won the prize. Now, don't you know that there was an athlete during the time of Apostle Paul who was participating in a race but did not fight a good fight, did not finish the race, and did not follow the rules, and yet he won? Well, there was, and his name was Emperor Nero, a wicked emperor of Rome. You see, around AD 67, the same year that Apostle Paul wrote the book of 2 Timothy, Emperor Nero participated in a chariot race. He had a special love for horses, and he had a special passion for chariots, and he constantly talked about participating in a race. As an emperor, he ordered the Olympic game to be held 2 years earlier, and that was about AD 67, so he could attend. Then he competed in a 4-horse chariot race using a 10-horse chariot. You see, before even he started competing, he was already cheating. He cheated before the competition could even start. And so he was not following the rules. And while in the chariot race, he was thrown off the chariot, and so he was supposed to be disqualified, yet he came in back to the chariots. But later on, he was unable to hold out, and so he gave up before the end of the race. But through his influence and through giving freedom to the entire province that hosted the Olympics and giving the judges Roman citizenship and a large sum of money, he was declared a champion of the chariot race. Wow, that was a terrible and wicked act of this emperor. You see, when Apostle Paul says, "I have fought a good fight," he had contrasted himself with Emperor Nero in that despite his skills, his money, his power, his influence, did not fight a good fight. He cheated. When Apostle Paul says, "I have finished the race," he was thinking of Emperor Nero, a guy who is so powerful. He started great, yes, but halfway through the race, he fell off and gave up. And so he gets nothing but shame and disgrace. When Apostle Paul says, "I have kept the faith," he was thinking of Emperor Nero on that day that he was participating in that race. He lost his integrity, his name, and his influence. As a matter of fact, when we look at the history, Emperor Nero, when he died, his Olympic achievements were removed from public records, and the games of that year, AD 67, were declared null and void. That's what happened to Emperor Nero and his record during his Olympic competition. But as a soldier of Jesus Christ and as a spiritual athlete, the Apostle Paul, throughout his life and his ministry, he was determined and he was disciplined. And so he could confidently say, I have fought a good fight, I have finished the race, and I have kept the faith. And so he could conclude in verse 8, henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me on that day. That's the day of the rapture, the day of the rewarding, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing. Beloved, are you a good spiritual athlete? Is your name in the book of the athletes? Are you following the rules? Are you running to win? Well, that is my prayer and that is my hope for each one of you today. Well, join us next week as we continue with this series. We are praying that you will have a beautiful and a wonderful weekend. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy your soul food.
You are watching Soul Food First on Grace TV. Please follow us on the Grace TV Facebook page and please subscribe to our Grace TV YouTube channel. Until next time, God bless you. Bye!